Hello and Sawadee Krap. I'm Ian Yarwood and I'm bringing you this video from the safety of Perth in Western Australia. It would be foolish to produce a video like this within Thailand because assorted criminal defamation laws severely restrict freedom of speech, particularly speech that exposes the wrongdoing of any person or organisation with political or financial influence. Welcome back to my small series of videos that look at some of the murders and other violent crimes that occur on the Thai island of Koh Tao, also known as Death Island. In this video, I want to highlight 3 violent attacks on tourists where there is a common thread. All 3 victims came from islands within the English Channel. The victims were Simon Carter, pictured here, and also David Miller, who died on the 15th of September 2014, and Luke Miller, who died on the 8th of January 2016. As I mentioned, the most recent was the murder of Luke Miller, which occurred on the 8th of January 2016, and that was only 2 weeks after 2 Burmese scapegoats were convicted for the murders of David Miller and Hannah Witheridge on highly dubious evidence. Luke Miller came from the Isle of Wight, whereas David Miller came from the island of Jersey. Luke and David were not related, but most Thais would assume they were. This is because surnames only became compulsory in Thailand in 1913 when the Thai Surname Act was passed. Therefore, where 2 Thais have the same surname, they are normally closely related. It certainly would not have occurred to the average Koh Tao thug that surnames have been used in Europe for hundreds of years. I would suggest that it is quite possible that if on the evening of the 7th of January 2016, when Luke was drinking in bars along Sairee Beach, Koh Tao, he had mentioned his surname to any of the locals, then they probably would have assumed that he was related to David, and they probably further assumed that he might have been there to take revenge for David's murder. The local police dismissed Luke's murder as an accident, but injuries to his head and body made it clear that he was murdered. And his travelling companions had something to say about this. They were Nicola and James Gissing, pictured here with Luke. They saw his body and they were convinced, based upon what they saw, that he had been murdered rather than had died of an accident. It is also clear from screenshots of text messages from a first responder by the name of Stephen Drylee of Koh Tao Rescue that Mr. Drylee was also convinced that Luke had met with foul play. And here are the screenshots here. This is a text conversation between Sue Buchanan of the Samui Times and Mr. Drylee. The text on the right is from Sue Buchanan and it reads, "Miss Gissing talking to me most days." Mr. Drylee's response, "What do you want me to say? Did he hit his head while diving? No, unless he bounced off the bottom of the pool a few times." Sue Buchanan, "Wow, so she is right, it was foul play." Mr. Drylee, "Not sure, I don't think it was intentional, I think there was a fight." Then on to the second one. "The police even asked us, did we drop him or disturb any evidence on his head?" Sue responds, "Haha, did they really? Wow, because people who want to rescue people often drop victims." Mr. Drylee says, "You see, we as rescue always protect ourselves. We have brains. We did not remove the body from the pool until the ME was at the scene and together with about 30 other law enforcement people there. They are stupid. They did everything not to make this a murder. They are still tarnished with the other case." That other case, of course, being the murders of Hannah Witheridge and David Miller. I'll refer to this post in just a moment. But I'll just say that it's worth noting that Mr. Drylee gave false evidence and misleading information to the media about the deaths of Luke Miller, Shelley Bott and Elise Dalimagna on Koh Tao, but he did so thinking that the editor of the Samui Times had deleted text messages he sent her regarding Luke Miller's death. Below this video I shall post a link to the article in the Samui Times of the 25th of June 2017 that discusses Luke's death and the attempted cover-up by Mr. Drylee. It contains those screenshots which I've just shown you of the text conversation, and it also contains this screenshot from a Victorian lawyer regarding a violent incident she witnessed on Koh Tao. And it reads as follows. This is unsurprising. I visited Koh Tao several times and witnessed incredible violence, worse than any I had seen in my life. I had briefly contemplated leasing a resort there, which was for sale. The local dive masters said that was not a smart thing to do, as the island was controlled by mafia. The island had all been owned and controlled by women, but the influence of the mafia was growing. I thought this was probably nonsense until one night I saw a local being bashed and kicked senselessly by a large number of men, angrier than I have ever seen. I exclaimed that somebody should call the police. The five masters all cautioned me to be quiet, looking something fearful for my life. They commented, "He is gone. He will be dead before tomorrow morning." I don't think it would have even been that long. The man was being bludgeoned to death in front of our eyes and was then thrown into a truck and driven off by thugs at high speed. There were hundreds of people witnessing all this. They all averted their eyes, looking shocked and fearful. And there are little anecdotes like this that do crop up from time to time. I shall post a link to an article from Time magazine which has an anecdote about an incident that occurred something like 10 years ago. This next picture is an image of some of the cuts that were to the face and neck and collarbone of David Miller, and those cuts apparently weren't mentioned at the trial and weren't mentioned during the police reconstruction of his murder, that reconstruction having taken place in early October of 2014. I shall provide a link to that separate YouTube video about misinformation that Mr. Drylee gave regarding various deaths on Koh Tao. And as most of you would be aware, David Miller from Jersey was killed on Sairee Beach, Koh Tao on the 15th of September 2014. And these are some of those injuries that I referred to there. On the 17th of September 2014, the Jersey Evening Post published articles about David's death, as well as this article about the glassing of Simon Carter. And that was one of the headlines that refers to an islander. And having referred to an islander, that suggests that, like David, Simon had come from the island of Jersey. The very short article about Simon Carter reads as follows. Man who was glassed in Murder Island, Koh Tao, tells of his lucky escape. In May, and that's in May of 2014, backpacker Simon Carter had been travelling around Thailand with 4 friends when he was randomly glassed by what he believes were 2 teenage locals. Speaking to the Jersey Evening Post, Mr. Carter said the unprovoked attack left him with an 8-inch slash from his jaw to the top of his ear, but he knows it could have been a lot worse. And I shall provide a link to that article below as well. But there's his image, and there's the rest of the text that I just read to you. Well, thank you very much for watching until the very end. If you found this video informative, please press like and share it with your friends on social media. Thanks again for watching, and please stay safe.